Greetings, guys. I wanted to come to you today to answer a question that I receive rather frequently about should we use the term Campbellite when we are engaging with discussions with our friends and family members who might be within the churches of Christ. I've also received a comment in recent days on some of my other videos from current members of Churches of Christ wanting to know why I would even use the term since they consider it to be offensive. Some even go so far to say it's a slur against Christians in their church, and they believe when people like me use it that we're trying to insult them. They'll also go on to say that we don't express allegiance to Alexander Campbell and we only follow Christ, so we don't want to be referred to by that term. This video is kind of a summation of what I responded to this comment on my channel. I want to begin by saying that I am completely aware that the term Campbellite is offensive to those of the Churches of Christ. But I will also say that when they raise this concern, it is an indicator of the height of hypocrisy that reigns among the spiritual descendants of Alexander Campbell. Now, the term Campbellite can be used in a respectful way when referring to and being honest about the nature and history of the Restoration movement. Now, this history and facts about the Restoration movement are things that churches of Christ as a whole typically don't want to acknowledge. So we actually can use this term as a respectful shorthand way of referring to the events surrounding Alexander Campbell, the Restoration movement, and the things that resulted from his teaching that are with his spiritual descendants to this day. But this is what I say to everyone who criticizes me for using that term. I'll stop using that term Campbellite when those of their particular church, the Churches of Christ, when they stop calling me a Calvinist. I'll refer to those people within their group as Christians when they first start calling me Christian as well. As long as these guys are unwilling to do both of those things, being the courteous thing in return, the term Campbellite is quite fitting when we are discussing these issues. Now, also, this user, when he left this comment, he made it in ignorance, showing his double standards where he has rules for me, but he won't apply those to himself. Like many of them do, they leave a comment like, I'm praying for you. I hope you come back to the Church of Christ. And all this in regards to me using the term Campbellite. But I appreciate the kind candor of the comment. It wasn't made in hostility. But I will say to those of you who do leave comments like that, I want to ask you, why is it that you are praying for me? Under your own theology, has not God done all he is going to do by initiating the quote unquote plan of salvation and then sending out the evangelists that are associated with your group? Is it not then up to my quote unquote free will to embrace the truth? What will your prayers accomplish that my free will can't do in and of itself? Once again, the people who leave these comments, I'm grateful for you when you're kind. Some of you share stories about how you left the Churches of Christ and you came back in. You're one of the fortunate ones. Many of them who do leave become atheists and they stay atheists and they never come back because they believe that the Church of Christ is the only game in town. And once the Church of Christ is proven to be a charade, they quit religion altogether. So once again, should we use the term Campbellite? You can if you're going to use it in a respectful way. But if you are engaged in a conversation with a member of the Church of Christ who shows that they're unwilling to listen to history and where it came from, I would begin by saying, just politely saying, you're advocating the Campbellite perspective on this issue. And then when they get angry and say they're not a Campbellite, they're a member of the Church of Christ, we don't have allegiance to Alexander Campbell, you can say, well, let's be fair. You are advocating an interpretation of Scripture and a hermeneutic that came from Alexander Campbell and his cohorts. And you call me a Calvinist or whatever you may be who you're talking to, all using the same standards. If we're looking at it here, it's hypocrisy for us to not really apply the same standards and be honest as to where our ideas came from. So I hope that's a good short way of looking at this question. And if you have any other comments, concerns about the Church of Christ, please feel to comment, send emails, whatever you would like to do. And I hope you found this video to be helpful to you today. God bless.